Oh, hey there, how's it going? So I was just sitting on my back porch and reading probably what many would say is the greatest sports book of all time. It was a New York Times bestseller, or it should have been. It was unfortunately just a one-on-one copy that never made it out of my parents' house. This is a book from 1996 that I wrote probably about 21 years ago, maybe 97, I'm not sure. I was in the 3rd grade. I'd really have to think to look that up. It is titled The Big Hurt by Bud Sothman. This is the life story of Frank Thomas, which I wrote when I was in the 3rd grade. I found this in the basement as I was cleaning some things up, and I figured I'd just go ahead and read it for you. So let's go ahead and start off. Starts off on the very first page. A lot of great writing, as you can see. Here we go. Frank Thomas is one of the best baseball player ever. He has the biggest arms you ever seen. When Frank was in high school, he could hit balls in the parking lot. He won 2 straight Most Valuable Player award. Frank won a home run derby. People started to hear about Frank when he broke his high school home run record. Now I should note that Frank Thomas had not actually won home run derby by that point, but 3rd grade me, keep it going, my man. When he was in college, he was a star football player and baseball player. In 1989, he almost got picked by the New York Mets, but Mets fans are just kicking themselves right now. They thought he would play football too. The next year, he tried out for the Chicago White Sox. The next season, he was on the Sox. Mets were wrong. Frank did not play football. Sorry, Mets. Just keeps on getting worse for you. In his first year, he made a new record. 20 home runs in his first year. I don't even know what record that would have been, but sure. Aaron Judge has 50 right now. It's a few more to go in the season. In 1991, he started to hit his first inning home runs. Now, he batted 3rd, 4th, so that would make sense. He even hit a home run against Greg Maddux. That never happened. I just made that up. In 1992, the fans loved him. He hit 30 home runs. It was just like when Frank was in high school. In 1993, the Sox were in the playoffs. The Sox did awesome against their first opponents. They're, of course, THERE. But the Toronto Blue Jays was... I don't even have was. But the Toronto Blue Jays waiting for them. The first 2 games will be in Toronto. The matchups were Jack McDowell against David Cone, Frank against Joe Carter, Lance Johnson against Alberto Alomar Jr. I just like how I just had them just facing off against each other like it was a boxing match. The winner will go to the World Series. The first game, the Sox lost. The next game, the Sox won. The series was tied at 1. Then they went to the Windy City. The 3rd game, the Sox won. They lost the next game. Then they went back to Toronto. The Sox lost that game. The Toronto Blue Jays were 1 win away from the World Series. The Sox did not give up. They won the next game. I really don't think actually this series went 7 games. The series was tied at 3. The next game was in Comiskey Park. I think I spelled Comiskey wrong. It was the bottom of the 9th. Lance Johnson hit a ball to left center. He hit it to a Blue Jay. The Toronto Blue Jays were in the World Series. I was crushed back then. I was 7 or 6 or so. Yeah, I was just turning 7 in 1993. That season, Frank hit 42 home runs. He had a 511-foot home run in a home run derby. He hit over 100 RBIs. He was Player of the Year. The next year was a great year. The Unbelievable Four were great. The Sox were going to win the World Series that year. A surprising thing happened. There was a strike. Little Bud Sothman was really heartbroken at that point. People had to wait over a year for baseball to come back. The Unbelievable Four came to 1. Jack McDowell was traded to the New York Yankees. Alex Fernandez and Robin Ventura are doing terrible. Frank is the best player on the team. At the All-Star break, it was the best home run derby of the 90s. Albert Bell hit 7 home runs. Frank hit 8 home runs. Bell hit 7 home runs. Frank hit 4 home runs. They both went to the finals. Frank won it. It's the saddest home run derby ever if you compare it to today's home run derbies. He also hit the game-winning home. He also hit the winning home run in the All-Star game. Actually, All-Star is funny. It's because it's the only word in this entire book in which I wrote in cursive. So shout out to you, 3rd grade Ken, for also, kind of breaking the norm there and putting that emphasis on All-Star. Jeff Conine hit the winning home run. Oh, Frank Thomas and Jeff Conine both hit winning home runs. Perfect. Sox did not make the playoffs. They had lots of fun. That's the end of the written portion. Of course, I can show you the best part. I actually did drawings in this book. Here's Frank first. He is happy in Chicago. That doesn't look like a happy guy. I don't really know. Here's a picture of Frank with a happy fan. I was hoping that would be me one day. And then there's Frank leading off of, I'm guessing, first base. Or, you know, could be anywhere, really. Oh, a little comic strip going. Frank stepping into the pitch right here. And then Frank knocking it out of the ballpark. Boom. Put on the board. Yes. Frank sliding into home plate. He scores. And that looks like a spectacular play by Frank made over at first base. I'd have to say it was pretty spectacular. Some blank pages about the author. So, myself. Hi, my name is Bud Sothman. I'm the author of this book. I started like the Sox in 1991. You might think I'd say pronounce my last name Soth, then man, but you don't. It's pronounced with the O silent. Which actually, most of the time I say Sothman anyways, just to appease people, but young Bud Sothman was not taking your crap. Lots of people like Frank Thomas. That's why I wrote this book. I was born November 12th, 1986. I lived in Hobart, Indiana my whole life. I collect lots of baseball cards. I am 9 years old. I live with my mom, dad, sister, and Casey. Casey's the cat. Shout out to Kitty Cat. Baseball is my favorite sport. My favorite place is to eat McDonald's. Not much has changed. I like to play basketball and football too. My dad coaches my baseball team, and my grandpa helps. In baseball, I play pitcher and first base. There's also a photo section of the author. As you can tell, that guy looked like he was about to crush a lot of home runs like Frank Thomas. And I believe the next year we were part of the Lions Club. So, right there too. I think my dad and my grandpa are actually coaches on that one. And possibly Big Rob too, so shout out to them. Alright, more information. If you want to write to Frank Thomas, address your letter to Frank Thomas at Chicago White Sox, Comiskey Park, 33rd West 35th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60616. And lastly, all the information that one could ever want on Frank Thomas. Got his birthplace, Columbus, Georgia. Height, that looks like 6'5", weight 257. I'm sure with all his eugenics commercials, he's probably still sitting right about playing weight right now. And then I went down and put all of his statistics that started off his Hall of Fame career. Unfortunately, I don't think anywhere on here I put batting average, which I believe Frank Thomas ended with a 301 career batting average. So shout out to you, the Big Hurt. There was one note that I found from my 3rd grade teacher in this. So this was for the young authors competition that Hobart used to have between all the elementary schools in our area. Book grade buddy, C-. Come on, Mrs. Wallace, you're killing me. Book looks unfinished. Pictures aren't colored. Also, it was supposed to be a fictional book. So, there you have it. Big Hurt. If you like a signed copy, I'm going to have to probably tell you I'm sorry. This is the only one, but I hope that you guys can take this video when you put your kids to rest at night. You can play it for them, and they could grow up one day to be just like the Big Hurt too.